Furball, what are you doing? Oh! Yes, Cat. Right as I started to log on, he decided to jump on. Oh! This is what happens when you have an overly affectionate cat. Ah! No. Velcro Kitty? This is why he's called the Velcro Kitty. Come on. No, no. Putting you down to the ground. On the plus side, he's got enough control over his claws that he gets the shirt but doesn't touch the skin. No scratches, nothing. He just, don't put me down. Anyway, thank you and welcome. Now, as the title down here says, tonight I'll be sculpting some casualties. Civilians and guard in the aftermath of a giant attack. Not sure how many I'll get through. I'm going to try to make them, kind of quick, but still good looking. So, if a Cyclops comes pounding through, boosh, 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 or your local mead hall gets attacked by Grendel, well, you'll have the figures to represent the poor schmucks who didn't make it. Yeah, that was Grendel. What do you think? Now that I'm thinking about it, pop out the chat so I can be peeking in on the chat. Well, it is on video. I do have it recorded. It's in the if you click on my name and go back in the back, you can watch me sculpt them. I'm not going to be sculpting any more of the giants live. Most of them are going to be, wait for it, Kickstarter's live! Take a look at these guys! Well, I hope you at least stick around for this one. Because I got some ideas for some interesting casualties. I'm not going to do all the casualties in a single 2-hour period. There's just no way, because there's going to be about like 6 or 7 casualties, maybe more. Male, female, dwarf, human, unidentifiable because it's underneath a giant boulder, that kind of thing. So yeah, to be honest, this is Ziltech Deep Green filament, printed on my CR10. A little bit of a swampy base. And I deliberately made the bases moderately thin and not quite as detailed, so that when you go to make your own, you can add stuff like tufts of grass, get a stick out in the yard, break it in places and make it as a log that's sitting in the water spot, that kind of thing. But yeah, this is printed at 0.16 millimeter layer height. It's not the best print in the world. It didn't come out perfectly. I'm going to zoom in. I also haven't fully cleaned it yet. But yeah, I mean, you can even make out the skull right there on his waist. The claws, as you can see, came out kind of iffy. But for a quick and dirty print, he came out pretty good. You can make out the stitching between the different sections of the loincloth, front and back. Although, I mean, that's, there we go. A little bit more light. Yeah. And of course the mouth and the tongue and the teeth. So yeah. This came straight off my CR10 with the mediocre print settings. Now, just for pure size comparison, Polyphemus and Grendel. If Grendel was standing upright and could unbend his hump, he would end up being a little bit taller than Polyphemus, but a lot skinnier with shorter arms and longer legs. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, so what exactly happens when this makes contact with this? We're going to explore that tonight without any gore. We're going to try not to have too much blood and guts and bone and explosion of viscera and garbage like that. Well, I'm thinking about it. Need to grab me a soda. Gonna shoot the breeze here just for a few more minutes, just long enough to try and see if we can get some more people to show up. Now, this Sunday I do have one sculpt scheduled. I don't have two yet. I'm trying to see if I can get somebody in for the evening for Sunday. I'll probably be able to. Meanwhile, I have some tragic news. My photon. Come to find out, as I may have mentioned earlier, I had a problem on my photon screen. And the bottom part is where I've exaggerated the contrast so you can see it easier. And, well, I followed the official Anycubic video, step by step, exactly, to remove the glass above the screen and remove the screen. They mention in one part in the video that you might need to use a heat gun for a couple minutes just to heat up the glue. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, didn't work. It ended up shattering the glass, which broke the screen, and part of it fell inward and scraped across the circuit board. Just to let you know, the circuit board is beside and below the. It's not directly below the screen. 'Cause directly below the screen is the UV light. But yeah, it hit the circuit board because I'd moved that out from the way so I could get to it, and so yeah, my photon is currently a casualty. What a coincidence that I'm sculpting Casualties today. Oh, and by the way, a couple of you just joined us. I'm sure you've seen my CR10 print of Polyphemus. Well, he now has a little brother. Blah. Grendel. And yes, I am getting a replacement photon. The whole thing pretty much needs to be replaced. And just as for a comparison purposes, get off him. Keeping in mind that as a Dragonborn, he's slightly larger than a human figure. Grendel, in comparison with a human-scaled figure. Like I said, now that's, like I said earlier, it didn't come out great, and I still haven't, the claws came out kind of messy, the face came out kind of messy, and I did it at 0.16 layer height with, do I have a, yeah, I have an older spool, it's Ziltech Deep Green PLA. Anyway, so I figure I got enough people here. It's time to go ahead and start working on our poor, pathetic casualties. Okay, yeah, basic human. Now we're going to do some simple things on him. We're going to give him the basic tunic skirt. Excuse me. And this is what we're going to start with. We are going to go ahead and let's see what happens if we let's go down to -100. See what happens if we make him less muscular. Oh no, that looks bad. No, that looks bad. 0. No, not that one either. Oh look, he's already got soldier body parts. Don't ask what this is for. It was a weird experiment. No ears. And then there's this, but that's, long story short, that's for the race morphs that don't have a female. For example, let's go to the hobgoblin. And then we make a female hobgoblin. How's that for funny? Or we make an ogre. And then we make a female ogre. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, never mind. Actually, William, he'll look awesome at 0.025 layer height when I get the new photon. See, all right, I got to show this because this is what's irritating me. All right, let's increase the zoom. This is the resin version, one of the failed prints. And as you can see, he's missing his knee. Oh my, oh me. And he's got a slash that goes all the way up, cutting his foot in half here. But the hands came out gorgeous, and the face came out beautiful. And as you can see, there's 2 holes that I put in him for draining the resin, as he was printed like this, so that when you take the bed off, he's standing upright. So, like this, he drains out. There's a little bit in the hand, you tilt it, you pour it back out the legs. But yeah. That's exactly what happened, William. The gunk on the screen blocked the UV light in that same ring shape that just happened to go around the foot here. It zoomed up. It missed under here barely, but came straight up the back. That's what was causing my failed prints, was that gunk on the screen. Anyway, but yeah, that's that. Go ahead and pop back to this. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm not going to bother with the proportions, making them chubbier. Actually, what the heck, I will. I'll make them a little bit chubbier. No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide the skirt. And what's going to happen is I'm going to tilt him forward a lot. A little bit of a twist. Okay, there's a reason for this. Actually, not quite that much. About there. And then we're going to bend the chest back a bit and twist it. Now we're going to bend the knee forward and back. Alright, now we're going to select the hip again and we're going to bend like that. Control D to drop it. And from the right hand view, okay, now we need to yes, this guy is going to be flopped down on the ground with his butt sticking up in the air. Mm-hmm. Okay. Split. Yeah, we need to move this side to side. That way. And front view. That's 23, so this goes negative. Okay. So what are you thinking of this particular pose so far? Am I being a bit too ridiculous with it? split. Alright, now this arm, we're going to side, back. Okay, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pin the translation and rotation for both feet. I'm going to see what I can do about making them a bit more exaggerated of a bend there. Okay, now this. Ah! I think I screwed him up. Ah! Okay, let's try it this way. Okay, let's try if I go start from this. No. And go like that. Okay, right view. Yeah. Okay, now. Splat. Okay. Our first casualty. Mark, I had a freak accident. What it is they have a glue that holds the glass piece above the screen. The glue is attached to the frame, The screen is not attached to the glue. Mine had too much glue. It was an assembly error. So yeah, this is the current state of poor Schmuckatelli. And let's go ahead and... yeah, there's some issues, but we can fix that in ZBrush. So we're going to just go ahead, File, Export. Now these are going to be associated with Cormoran. Cormoran is a Cornish giant. That means he's from Cornwall. Okay, down the southern end of England. The problem is that Cormoran is a rather generic giant name, to the point where practically every giant in Cornish myth is named Cormoran. And the end result is you have so many different characters taking credit for having killed Cormoran that it's just positively ridiculous. So what I decided to do was well, first of all, what I decided to do with Cormoran was decide that he's not just this massively famous giant. He's also partially immortal, to the point where he actually found a way to get his soul split up. More like a phylactery and less like a Horcrux. And he's got it scattered across the country. So, when you kill Cormoran, well, you might not have. That was just to make sure that I've gotten... yeah, this is going to take some sculpting to clear up. Anyway. So, one of the interesting features of Cormoran, at least as I did him, is that he's got a cowl tied around his neck. Now, what this came from is that one of the stories of Cormoran is that he was rich, but didn't understand how money actually worked. So even though he had boatloads of gold, he would go down to the local village and steal their food, steal their cattle, and that sort of thing. While I'm looking at it, I'm going to use the Move Topological brush to bring this in some, because, yeah, doesn't need to stick that far out. I'm also going to grab it here and pull it up this way. No, not that. So the end result is the village got mad at him for being a miser and still stealing their stuff. So they managed to trick him into wearing a cowl around his neck and standing out in the harbor until he learned his lesson. So my version of Cormoran has a cowl tied around his neck. And nobody knows why. He just does. It's been dead a while, but it's around his neck. Okay, now I'll Dynamesh it. Oh, not 128. No, 768. So yeah, Cormoran is the classic Jack the Giant Killer giant. The as generic a giant as you can get. But he's not going to be built like, he's not going to be all massively chubby like a typical hill giant or anything like that. No. He's going to be kind of tall and skinny and big old knee bones and large joints and this. Because he's also not that bright. And he pays for it. Okay, now, I'm going to shrink the mouse. Let's turn that on so I don't forget. And we're going to smoothen the butt. Which is completely different from Doing the Butt, which was a song from many, many moons ago. Years and years ago, Doing the Butt. Yes, I remember that. If anyone else remembers Doing the Butt, you're old. If anyone else actually did the butt, I'm sorry. Okay, and then we're gonna smooth this out. We're going to come back in later and actually carve in the split between the belly and the... Alright, now, let's frame out, zoom out. We're also going to smooth out that leg. There's obviously some things I screwed up by torching it the way I did. Okay, and then we're just gonna shrink this a bit and inflate the underside. We're also going to inflate the entirety of the underside because he's flattened against the ground. To be exact, what I'm really going to do is this. After I've gotten the basic sculpt done, I'm going to flatten the bottom side of it. Okay, now we're going to smooth out the back here because he is wearing a tunic and is not showing his somewhat geeky, out of shape civilian back muscles to the world. Now let's go ahead and just fully flatten the back. There. That's going to take a few to calculate. Yeah, there we go. Now we're going to slash, shrinking it a bit, dropping it way down, and turning off Lazy Mouse. Zoom in. We're going to cut right along in here. Use this basically as our drawing brush to draw on the sleeves and neck of the tunic. We're just going to do it this way, just to make it a little bit easier. We really should shrink the mouse, yeah. And then we're going to come around up front. We're not going to do much to the front, because the front's going to be covered up anyway by virtue of being on the ground. Okay. Now, these won't necessarily have a base. I hate to put it this way, but casualties, unless they represent a very specific character that, oh my god, Newton's hurt, they're terrain, not characters. You know, they're like scatter terrain after a giant attack, or dragon attack, or whatever attack. Okay. Now, under subtool, we go down here and we extract at point 2, accept, draw. Actually, no. Delete that. We're going to extract at point 03. Extract, accept, draw. Yeah, that looks better. And draw. And now we're going to dynamesh this at 128. And we're going to smooth out. Let's go to here and smooth out the bottom. Then we're going to use move tool. Move topological will do. I'm going to grab this and kind of pull it down into the body. Same thing here. Then we're going to subdivide it a few times until it looks smooth. Tool, merge down. Geometry. There we go. And now, use a shift smooth here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. It did well. Tapping the number 1 key to repeat after doing something like a smooth operation saves so much time and effort. And if you did it too much, well, you can always just, you know, go up here. You see all these little blocks? You just choose one from, like, say, back here. Oh, that went too far? Well, let's go to here. Okay, well, let's go all the way back up to here. You can actively cycle through states. Okay, frame out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to give him boots. And by doing that, we get to erase that. Okay. And then we're also going to give him over here. Now, as you can see, we're going to have to clear off the thumb after we get this on. But that won't be hard. We just make the mouse smaller. And Control-Alt-Delete, or Control-Alt-Stroke, and erase the extra masking on the thumb, because the thumb don't need to have boots on it. Okay. we go. Now we're going to zoom out. And subtool, we're going to extract at 0.03. The reason we're doing 0.03 is because of these being casualties and not active player characters, or active troop types if you're going to be using them for tabletop war game. They need to, they're not going to be studied as much. They're just glance at them on the table type things. So they need to have a little bit more difference in the details. The details need to be exaggerated a bit more. Okay. Now we subdivided a couple times. Merge down. And beep. Yay. Smooth there, and 1, 2. Smooth here. And around. Okay. Now the next thing he's going to need is a belt. So we're going to go back here. Yeah, it's about right. And we're going to start off by just simply drawing where the belt would be. Then we're going to erase where the belt wouldn't be. So for example, right. Yeah, let's go up this way. And we have some areas that we need to go back into, but we're just going to shrink the mouse a lot for that. Okay, and then we just erase here. By the same token, we just erase a little bit here. And then we extract it, just like we have before. Extract, accept, draw. The only difference that we're doing this time is instead of 128, we're doing it at 256. And then subdivide it a few times. Frame out, zoom out. Okay, he needs hair. Once he's got his hair done, we're going to draw on some wrinkles. Actually, let's go ahead, inflate in there. That's good enough. Now we're going to, with this, zoom in. We're going to make his head visible and only his head. Make the mouse a little bit bigger. And we're going to draw on where his hair will be. And it's going to be coming around here. Coming back. Now he would have a part. But, it's hanging down to the ground. He's got, no dead man hair, basically. I'm not going to bother detailing too much below because it's going to be going bye-bye. Okay, so now, as I scratch it, we're going to extract it at 0.2, no, 0.3 will do, because this is supposed to be a bit more exaggerated. Okay, now we go to hair, and we dynamesh it. Then we subdivide it a lot. We don't want dynamic subdivision. That'll do. And we go to slash. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to make a nice big deep slash for the part. And we're going to come in from the front and kind of curl it a bit. Curl it a bit like that. All the hair is going to kind of drift down towards where the ground is. Then we're going to switch to add at 9 and lower the brush size a little bit, and it's going to draw out there and then kind of come down and down, 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 ba-doo-ba, down, 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 down. Yeah, that sort of thing. And wow, that's a bit too much. Yeah, let's bring this down and kind of come around like that. And here we have, well, dadgummit. Okay, screw this. Works down, down. Frame. There we go. He's sent. Drawing wrinkles just using the slash brush. And we're just going to kind of just draw in a couple basic and just some basic ones, and only on the upper side, because the lower side will be trimmed. Now we're going to subtract a lot more than we were adding. And shrink the mouse quite a bit, and just kind of I'm just going to draw these in and bring them out, and that's our wrinkles. Now what we do, we go to Trim Rectangle. Control, Shift, and let's see, about how far down do we want? There. No. There. No, not quite enough. Actually, let's go to the Move Topological, make it bigger, grab the hand and pull it down, because his fingers need to come down. Let's pull this down. Okay. Now, we're going to do it again, this time to about there. Okay. Frame, zoom out, and this is casualty number 1. So we're going to go ahead and Dynamesh him. But we're going to Dynamesh him at 768. So all we got to do is just draw, because I've kept it Dynameshed. And now we have 764,000 vertexes and 773,000 triangles. That's pretty low poly, but it's still a little bit too high res. So what we're going to do now is we're going to decimate him.
We are going to decimate him to 70,000 triangles. 9%. And 71,953. Split. He got smooshed. He got clobbered.
And here we have the poor remnants of the city tax collector. No one mourns him. Export. Cormoran Files. Casualty 01. The coroner's report says he's squished. Officially, the official term is squished. It's what happens when you get drop kicked by your butt by an 18-foot tall giant and you land and skid and smush yourself. Okay, so we're going to go back here and we're going to make him visible again. This time, edit figure 0 figure pose. Bing! Yay!
He is zeroed. Unpin all.
And skirt is a 0. Yeah. Actually, we don't need the skirt now. The next one. We won't need most of this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to flip him onto his back, drop. We're going to twist the arms, bring them up, and then let's go ahead and figure symmetry. Left to right, accept. Then we're going to, actually, the next thing we need to do is we need to take the collar and bend forward. We're also going to side to side these arms, even though you're not supposed to. There's a reason. Now we're going to bend, let's do it to the left because it'll be easier. We're going to bend the foot back. We're going to bend the calf forward. Yes, as painful as that looks. Now, create new primitive. Sphere. Diameter. .5 meter diameter. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Way too big. I forgot, yeah. See, the problem is, I was thinking in, if this guy is just under 2 meters, Okay, so, file, create, new primitive. 12, 24, let's say 0.5 meters. Okay, and then we just shrink him a bit until it's about right. And now, from the left view, we're going to grab it and move it like that. Yes, it is what you think. This one will have a base simply because it kind of needs it. File, import, base flat. Accept. And then let's just do it this way. It's going to be a little bit bigger than what it really should be. And we're going to Z translate or Y translate it up. And yeah. Now we're going to bend the head back because the head doesn't need to be seen. Odd as that sounds. Yes, his head is now like that.
Ah!
What happens when a giant throws a rock at a person? Okay. File, export, Casualty 02, accept, hide him, make the ball visible, and this is going to be file, export, Casualty 02 rock, accept, hide it, make this visible, file, export, Casualty 02 base, accept, and back to ZBrush. We're now going to import Casualty 02. Really looks bad. Oh god, that neck. Oh god. Oh, look at that. That just looks so wrong with the head like that. Now, we are going to... Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Let's drag you back over. Append. Import the rock. Not to be confused with the rock. And import the base. Now we're going to start off with the rock. Frame, zoom. And we're going to be basically chopping it up. Okay, that's good. We're gonna there we go. And then we're gonna subdivide it. Yeah, that'll do. Now, for those who were here Tuesday, you might remember this next technique for making things look like rocks. And that involves using the polish with a large size. And then just kind of randomly... Oh! I kind of messed up. I forgot to do it's on subtract. And 100%. Okay, so we're just gonna draw on some basic shapes. We need to make this bigger. Brrr. And then we're going to shrink it down a bit and polish some of these areas a little bit better just to make them a bit rockier. Now, we're going to do one thing. We've got to make him visible, make the rest visible, because now we've got to make the rock big enough to actually cover the base. Because by sculpting like we did, we shrunk it a bit. So, one way to do this, well, one thing we could do is we could simply take and we could offset the Y and kind of embed it a bit more into the base. But that's still not quite enough. So we need to size it. We need to scale it bigger. And then offset it by the Z. That looks like it'll do. Okay. Then we simply, now we go to the subtool, select him. We're going to subdivide him a couple times. Dynamesh him at 768. And then trim away part of the person. But the only stuff visible is that. Now we're going to go to the base. We're going to use transparency for this. And we've got to, first of all, dynamesh the base at 512. Alright, now what we're going to do here, we're going to use the clay build-up brush, like a bit smaller, and we're basically going to build up no, forgot to change it to from alpha 28 to alpha 1. I'm just going to kind of build up around where it is. And this is where the most fun for this one comes in, is just kind of just making it look like it really embedded itself there on him. Just a little bit of squishy here, a little bit down here, a little bit under here. Squish. This is the squish. Okay. Now, we're going to go back to the rock because we kind of need to yeah, there we go. Kind of just we're doing this to really make it look a bit more chaotic and more like actual dirt. We're going to go back over it and smooth it in just a second. But this is to really sell the chaos and the randomness of the dirt piling up around the rim of the impact crater. And I'm just going to now we're going to drop it down, and we're going to, well, first of all, we're going to inflate this area right in here, because that one got kind of smushed a bit. Now we're going to go back with clay buildup and just kind of just randomly scatter over it, once again, to build up that the look of scattered dirt and not the look of smooth randomness. You'll notice it's actually breaking in through the rim outside the... Yeah, there we go. The orb crack brush a little bit bigger than average, and we're going to kind of crack where it impacted. Actually, we need to dig it deeper than that, so we also need to make it smaller than that. Okay. And here we have the Uber Squish. And once again, we are going to merge down Geometry Dynamesh. And now we're going to decimate to 35,000 triangles. I'll be honest, this is the one that went into my head first when I thought of What would the casualties for a giant attack look like? Oh yeah! Ooh. So I'm gonna put this up here just for a moment because I'm going to be going as soon as this is done. I'll be going back into the studio, and of course, the second I lean back. Ugh. Really? Hmm? You really do this, huh? What do you think you're doing, huh? What do you think you're doing? And it's almost done. Yay. Cats make waiting on the computer a little bit easier to bear. Don't you, buddy? Hmm? What are you doing? You can't go to sleep in my arms. No. No. Okay, I gotta put you down, because this is down to 70,354 triangles. And Squish is being exported. Export files, Casualty 02. So yeah, the coroner's report for this one says, get an earth mover. Actually, let's go ahead and pop over to just that for a minute. Excuse me, hiccups. Yeah. So anyway, it's looking like I'll have time for one more casualty for the night. I'm thinking these casualties will go up on Thingiverse. Just because they're so funny. And just because, there's always room for casualties in a game. And it's like a little sneak preview. Because, I don't want to put any of these guys up as a sneak preview. Nor do I want to put Beowulf or Roland up as a sneak preview, because they're just too darn, they're way beyond. Okay, so one's squished over and has got his butt sticking up in the air. One is squished under a rock. What should the next one be? Come on, let's hear your suggestions. I mean, yeah, there's only 3 of you. Well, actually, probably 2, because one of them's probably me. Any other suggestions for casualties? No blood and gore. I want to try and keep it PG. No splatties. No splats. They can be used to represent people that are knocked unconscious, too. Meh, meh. Well, that last one really... If he's only unconscious, then he's still going to be under there for quite a while. No, giant attack casualties. They're giant attack casualties. And besides, I mean, if you really want to, let me show you what you could do if you really wanted to. Okay, let's import the previous casualty frame. Okay, now let's append Polymesh. Import. Now, what did I call it? What did I call it? Did I put it under... No. Hold on. Props? No. No. Old tiles, ammo belt, coins for helmet, life counters, mounts, new folder. No, nothing in there. New mecha? No. Other. Nope. I'll put it in here. What did I call it? I had made an arrow. But anyway, you could just take this sucker and just like stick a cylinder come in his butt if you wanted an arrow butt. So anyway, let's go ahead and kick back over to here, and I'm just going to delete all this because it'd be a lot easier than trying to reorient it all. And now content library, and we load in our, Mr. Payne. How about just lying down on the job? So we're gonna rotate -90. Control T to drop. And we're gonna have to take bend forward. Check the chest, bend forward. Grab the hip, bend back, so the back's kind of flat. He'll also be flattened. So next thing's next, we're going to take the chest and abdomen, and we're going to side to side them both. Okay. Now we're going to lower this leg. Let's go to the right view so I can do this right. I'm going to have to do something I don't like doing. Yeah, there we go. And then this leg's just going to bend. Left view. Yeah, there we go. Now, that's that. Now, yeah, okay. This arm's coming up. And back a little. Okay, that arm's gonna be like that, kind of. Yeah. Kind of bend that one that way. Twist this one like that. And then bend like that. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That should be pretty decent for a basic. Actually, he needs to, this arm needs to bend. Forearm does. So kind of a basic dead body on the ground. Yeah. Blah. And now we're going to add on the tunic. We're going to then check the twists that we've done to the thighs and do them to the tunic thighs. Okay, so the right thigh is negative 56, so the right thigh here will be positive 56. The left thigh is no twist. Okay. Gonna hide the skirt. File, export, Casualty 03, save, accept, and file, export, Casualty 03, skirt, accept. Then we kick it in when we're going to replace him. And notice he's got a flat butt. That's because that's where he got kicked by the giant. Import. Casualty 03. And this one, import Casualty 03 skirt. And this one's going to be a lot simpler also. Let me go ahead and just use the move brush. Move top a lot. Shrink it a bit. And just kind of move it in. We're not going to worry again about the back too much because the back is going to be erased, erased. However, you are going to grab this and pull it down because that's the way the back of a tunic or a kilt or skirt would hang. It would hang towards the ground. Okay. Now, let's zoom out. Yeah. We're going to subdivide both of these. Let me close this. And one more. Delete lower. Geometry. Delete lower. And merge. I said merge. Geometry, Dynamesh, and bing. There we go. Now we're gonna smooth out the waist here where yes, we're also going to smooth out the chest, because the chest don't need definition when it's going to be having a tunic over top of it. Neither do the underarms. It just needs a vague human-like torso-ish shape. And come on. There we go. Now again we're just gonna do a very brief polish on these just to get them going. We're gonna pretty much do to this guy what we did to the other guy. We are going to kind of grab this elbow and pull it out though, because we want to sharpen the bend. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to the standard brush, just for the sake of having this. We are going to draw on, oh, hold on, let me go back here and just going to smooth that out. Okay. Now, whoop. What we're going to do first is we are going to draw on where the tunic will be. Oh. And then come around this way. Once again, because we are doing something that is not necessarily as detailed as a named character sculpt like Beowulf or Roland. Yeah. Now let's just make sure we get some further stuff down below. We don't need to be as neat about the bottom half of this because it's going to get covered up. It's going to get splitted. Yeah, there we go. We just need to make sure that we're going below where it's going to be. Okay. And once we got this, we're going to go ahead and extract it at 0.03. Accept, draw, draw. And geometry, Dynamesh at 128. And smooth out the bottom. and a little bit on the back to make sure that it goes away. Then we're going to use the move tool, kind of bring it in. It's just a bit too much there, and smooth that out. Frame. Geometry. Subdivided a couple times. One more time, yeah. And we're going to merge down. Well, first of all, let's draw. Then merge down. And then steam. And we're going to smooth all that out, just to make sure that it all blends nicely. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit more needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then just for the sake of, just in case, we're going to come under here. And then under here. Okay. There. Now, actually, let me pop back over here. We're going to make him visible again. Going to hide his tunic skirt. And we're going to put on him boot cuffs. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. It'd help if I selected him and then put on the boot cuffs. And I can hide him. File. Export. Casualty, not Casualty. 03 boots. Accept. Come back in here and let's go ahead and append them now, just because. And then geometry subdivided a couple times, although we also need to come in over here and kind of smooth that. Okay. That's just to make sure that it's, those are boots that he's wearing. He doesn't have bare feet. Come around here, and then we're going to find a nice angle. And we're going to draw a mask. Actually, no, that's not a good angle. You come back down this way. Yeah, from here. Nice big old broad belt. And we're going to extract and accept, draw. Draw. Geometry, Dynametric 256. We're gonna shrink the mouse a bit and and smooth out here. Subdivide it a couple times, delete lower. And then now we've got one more thing to add, and that's a buckle. Then we get to wrinkling the tunic. So we're going over here to insert belt stuff. No, I didn't put it into belt stuff. What did I put it over here. Buckle. And we're going to put it. Oh, no, that didn't work. That's too deep. Here we go. That'll do it. Now we're going to use move topological on this before we go too far. No, we're going to use regular move because we need to. Because this is... And then we're going to shrink it down and change it to 50. Or change it to 0. Pull it out like that. And it has a regular belt buckle here. And now we're going to, under subtool, split unmasked parts. And then subdivide it a couple times because it's right now really... This particular one is pretty, you know... Okay, now let's go ahead and handle the hair. So, shrink the mouse and just kind of draw just kind of like that. Then undraw. And we're going to extract, accept, draw. Actually, let's go ahead and make him fully visible. Geometry, Dynamation 64. Shrink this. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the move tool, make it bigger. We're just kind of grab and drag out to represent the fact that this hair is like splattered on the ground too. Okay, we need to pull some of it down to there. Yeah. And then we're going to dynamesh it at, no, we're going to subdivide it a couple times and dynamesh it at 256. And then subdivide it again. Now it's time to slash. So we go back to slash. Going to shrink this a bit, and we're just going to start drawing on the basic locks, you know, coming down this way. And just kind of give us this little bit here. Okay. And here we have, last thing left to do is wrinkles, which once again we're going to do the cheesy easy way with the slash brush. And so we're going to just kind of, oh, And then a little bit on the side just to really emphasize them a little bit more. And then subtract, bring this up to 15 and just zoop, zoop, zoop. Just kind of draw here in between them and underneath, and just enough to make it look a bit more raggedy than just a tunic. Okay, so now we're going to merge down all the way. And we are going to come onto the side view. And we are going to... Actually, no. We're going to use the move topological brush first. Shrink it down. Drop it to 0. Focal shift. Shrink it down some more. Pull the fingers up. Now, we're gonna try and get as flat as we can without destroying stuff. Alright, that's a problem. Okay, let's do this. We need to dynamesh it. Okay, then nope, it's still doing that. Oh well. I know we're going to have to do some editing on this here in a minute. But this is the final shape that we're going to be using. So we're going to go ahead and decimate casualty number 3. So let's zoom out a little bit to make sure he's fully inside this little window. Let's change that just so we have a smaller brush. And decimate at 35K. One way or another, we're done with the tablet, so putting that up. What will it do with this? That's the big question. Right, 70,006 polys. Well, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, we're going to export this to files Casualty 03. I am going to pop back into to the camera while I start a different program. And what I'm about to do is something that I'm irritated that I have to do it to begin with, but I've got the tools to do it in this program. Basically, I'm going to be fixing that little webbing look. To be exact, it's 3D Studio Max that I'm going to be using to fix that little underbelly, under what you call it, webbing. So yeah. Oh. And as Kim said about, wow, 50 minutes ago, like, subscribe, and bell icon.
And down below in the description is the links to my Thingiverse page and my Patreon. Yes. Yes, indeed. And of course, any second now, I didn't even get to get the word now out of my mouth. Ugh. I have a Carlton. This is a finger. That is a Carlton. Finger coming towards Carlton. Do you mind? You gonna at least look at them? Show them your beautiful gold eyes? Yeah, look at them eyes. Anyway, the program is just now opening up. I'm going to set him down. Oh, it's not ready yet. Come on. This program takes a long time. Because it's an old program. It's got so many plugins that I've added. And here we go. Let's go ahead and jump back to Shinju goes off to get food. And now we go to import 3D printing home, meshes, Titans of Legend, Cormoran, files, Casualty 3, import. Okay, now, first things first. Nope, selects the whole thing. Alright. Now, I need to go ahead. Running the method wireframe, all viewports do not shade selected faces. And then we go back down to here and rotate it around like that. You can see why I don't like that result. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to select large chunks of these and delete them. Occasionally you will get flawed results from almost any program. If you do, it's better to go through a hard repair than to release some, than to just say, Oh no! Oh well.
and get that, and that, and that, and this. Nope, just that. Finally, here, and here. And then we're going to select here. Let's edge faces. Okay, now let's
unedge the faces. Let's see how bad it damages underneath. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a lot more damage than I thought. So we're gonna be, let's see what happens if I cap holes. Well, first let me undo that. And cap holes. Nope. Cap holes just does the same business. Okay. So, back to main screen. Closing 3D Studio Max. Because that's not going to help. That's a flaw that I'm going to have to do something even fancier to take care of. And once I finish that flaw, it's going to be it for the evening. I'll just 3 casualties done in 2 hours. You know, hey. Of course, the rock casualty was a bit easier than the others. Go ahead and remove that. Yep. Okay. What I'm going to do involves Rhino 3D. I don't like using this. Import. No. This would be under Titans of Legend, Cormoran, Files, OBJ, Casualty 03. Okay. I've got the same result here. Go to make this one rendered. You see that it's got that thing there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to make a mesh box about like that and go down. We go across. Alright, now I come in, I'm going to zoom in and see, oh look, there's a gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, grid options, because it auto snaps. Snap spacing 0.1. Take it, I'm going to bring it up just to there. Because if you notice, that goes higher, ever so slightly, than our web. And now, I'm going to do what's called a Boolean operation. Boolean difference. Select the second set, and I press Enter. And looky! I no longer have that little web, and I didn't really lose anything but a tiny fraction, you know, a single layer from the point of view of most slicers. Most people printing this on FDM. I'm going to select him. I'm going to export him as OBJ. Titans of Legend. Cormoran. Files. Casualty 03. Yes. And there. That's all 3 of our little casualties. Okay. I realize it's not as exciting as watching me sculpt a giant or a heroic champion or the like, but you can't make an entire figure line out of just the most important characters. You gotta have your casualties, your peasants, your, you know, bits and pieces, bits and bobs, the basic troops, that kind of thing. For example, the Dragonborn that I sculpted for Danny. Yes, I have a champion for each side, and 2 spellcasters for each side, and a commander, but I also had 2 troops for each side. That's you know, 6 figures. If only I was making 6 figures, eh? Eh? Hmm? Anyway. But yeah, I'm getting ready to go ahead and I'll be loading all of these suckers into Daz Studio just for the sake of rendering an image for my brain go. It's just for the sake of getting an image done for Thingiverse, because like I said, these three will be on Thingiverse. And then I'll be calling it a night. So I'm going to refresh the page so I make sure that I don't have to worry as much about, you know, the darn that there daggone lag that it done be getting. And yeah, so that's going to be a counting down from a 5, a 4, a 3, 2, and a 1. Bye bye. A 1.